Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And today we're going to start talking some more about The Devil Wears Prada. That's right, The Devil Wears Prada. Your favorite chick flick, not mine, although I do have to admit I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. There's a lot of stuff in here that I didn't expect that ended up being in there. And I was like, okay. And I don't even know whether or not to call it, it's definitely not a rom-com. Okay, although it's got all the tropes of a rom-com. It's got the music, the fashion, the early girl in her early 30s, late 20s, career in a big city, Manhattan, trying to make it, all that kind of stuff. It's very Sex in the City. Very much every rom-com out there, okay, it takes place in New York, because they're all the same crap over and over again. Okay, a lot of women have built careers off of this exact trope. The Meg Ryans, the Julia Roberts of the world, they've built their whole careers based on this. Okay, so this is nothing new. Okay, I instantly recognized a lot of the tone and a lot of the fashion. No, I don't know much about women's fashion. I don't. Okay, but I definitely recognized it. The designer clothes. Okay, the attitude. Okay, the vernacular, okay, the ambiance, so to speak, okay, the culture, definitely the culture of the white, middle-aged, Jewish female New Yorker, okay, probably Ivy League educated, okay, that's where they go, okay, when they graduate their Ivy League schools, if they go to New York, that's where the money is, or they'll go to LA, because that's where the money is. Okay, so and this is very much that. Okay, very, very much that. All right, I'm from Chicago myself. Okay, and so there's a lot of that there in Chicago as well. Okay, just rich uppity people. They go to their liberal universities, they graduate, and then they bring their politics over into the big city. Which, guess what? It's full of liberal people as well. So they just reinforce that whole thing. Okay, the problem is with these big cities is that there is something called the rest of the country, okay, which didn't go to Ivy League schools, okay, and that kind of thing. All right, and they don't necessarily agree with everything that these progressive liberal schools, these Ivy League schools, keep pushing out. Okay, and that's where you get the conflict. Okay, that's where you get the wait a minute, I don't agree to that. I know you're American, I'm American, but I don't agree to what you're saying. But yet the whole world's looking at you; they're not looking at me. Okay, because a lot of the world, they base what they think America is based on the movies that they see about America. And where do all those movies take place? They take place in New York. They take place in LA. Every once in a while, they take place in Chicago. Okay, they sure as hell don't take place in Jerkwater, Montana. Okay, you see what I mean? Okay, so a lot of what the world thinks about Americans, they base it on movies like this one. The Devil Wears Prada. Okay, you got New Yorker. Okay, young woman. Okay, she's like 30 years old, perfect age. Usually these rom-coms are the women. They're out of college. They're already like working their way up the corporate ladder. Okay, they've got everything going for them. They just can't find a man. They've got a horny best friend usually. Okay, played by Catherine Hahn. Okay, and they've and that's basically what it is. The career comes first. The boyfriend, the love interest is secondary. Okay, he can come into the girl's life, but the career's got to come first. Okay, now what about well, Diego, what happens if they get married? What if they fall in love? What if they decide to have a family? What's going to happen to her career if she decides to squeeze out some babies? How is she going to work and squeeze out babies? How's she going to work at her corporate job and still have babies? Well, it's simple. They just don't make sequels. That's it. You just won't see it happen. There won't be a part 2. There just won't be. Because now you got to ask some real questions here. Okay, well, who's going to stay at home? Who's going to keep working? Well, we all already know the answer to that one. Okay. Okay, but in these movies, it won't be that way. Okay, now she's going to keep her career and still give birth to the babies and still, be successful in her career, and someone else, they're going to pay someone to take care of the babies because they're rich and they can afford that, and so she's going to be a boss bitch. She's going to continue to excel at her career, make all the money, okay, which is going to be her money, and then her husband's money, who makes more money than her, because women only, they only date guys that are above them, not below them. Okay, that guy, his money is going to be our money, and then her money is going to be her money, and they're going to hire someone to take care of their kids for them. Okay, and of course they're going to live happily ever after this way. Okay, and that's just how it's going to be. Okay, and that's the American dream. That's the American way. Okay, women don't give up anything. They don't have to give up their career to have kids. They sure as hell don't have to raise their kids. They just have to show up, sign the report cards here and there, maybe go to a fucking a school play or something their kid is doing, and that's pretty much it. They'll hire other people to do everything else. Cook the kids breakfast, cook them dinner, take them in at night, read them stories. Okay, well they can hire a nanny to do all that shit. Okay, you see what I mean? And why am I pulling this out here? Okay, it's because I know you're thinking like, wait a minute, you just said that this is not a rom-com. Okay, it's not about her falling in love with anybody. You're right, it's not. But the little scenario I just gave you is basically what happens to one of the major characters in this movie. Okay, that's exactly what happens to her. Okay, and now what I just said, it sounds realistic. It doesn't sound ideal. I mean, even the most hardcore feminists, I mean, I would still even think most of you would still want to be actively involved in your children's lives. I mean, wouldn't you want to have a mother-daughter relationship or something, or a mother and son relationship that was close and full of trust, where you could just talk to each other about things instead of always being at work all the time? Okay, you see what I mean? Or having the nanny do it, or the maid do it, I would think so. Okay, well, this movie doesn't answer those questions, but it just brings up the problem. It just brings it up. Okay, and it doesn't give a solution. Okay, because according to feminism, okay, women have to fucking go out there and make money. They have to prove themselves. They have to prove that they can do anything that a man can do. Okay, of course that doesn't. We're not talking about garbage workers or underwater welders or dangerous jobs like that. No, we're talking about like the corporate CEO jobs. Women have to fucking prove that they can do everything just as good as a man can. Okay, and therefore they should get paid as well. Okay, and since men always put their career first, okay, the women should be able to do it too, right? Okay, yes, okay, some men do that. Especially successful men, the people that own their own businesses that are very wealthy, they usually don't have a lot of time. They're too busy managing things, running things. Yes, they have to, okay? But they also know that it's making that money, okay? Whatever that is, making that money by investing so much from himself into the business that he's in, it allows him to take care of his family financially. You see? So they don't have to worry about mortgage. They don't have to worry about fucking having money for food or paying that nanny or any of that stuff. Okay, his job provides that. That's why he has to put his job first. You see what I mean? He has to do it. And since he doesn't have to squeeze out any kids himself, he can continue to do it while his kids are being born. You see what I mean? That's why that emphasis is for the man to support, because he didn't have to take a break. He didn't have to go on maternity leave. Okay, he just keeps working and working to make that money to provide for his wife and for his children. Okay? Women, however, are being told that they have to do that as well and take care of the kids, or find someone to take care of the kids as well. Okay? But like the fact that they actually make the babies in their stomach means that they can't really work at optimal levels if they're going to have kids. Okay? You can't trust a pregnant woman to handle that, that $10 million deal. Okay, what happens if she goes into labor? What happens if the babysitter? What happens if she has a miscarriage, God forbid, in the middle of a board meeting or something? She's gonna have to go. You see what I mean? So that's why. And but feminism tells you no, you can do it anyway, and you can do it better. You see what I mean? And and this movie doesn't really provide a solution to that conundrum. What is the solution? I think that it should be equal, just like what it is with men. Okay, men that do that, men that put their careers first. Okay, I just explained to you the reason why they do it, which is a good reason. But men that put their careers first, okay, they have to make a lot of sacrifices. Okay, they're not going to be able to be out there dating a whole bunch of women. Okay, not when they're fucking their phone could go off at any moment and they've got to fix something crucial. Okay, they're not going to be able to be players. Okay, I'm sure they'll go on vacation every once in a while, but their day-to-day activities are going to be based on, their company. Okay, Like I think it was Bill Phelps, a very successful man. He said, like, I don't run my company runs me. Okay, and that's true. They got to be on call at all times. Okay, because their company, their business is what provides for them, provides for him and his family. He's not gonna have a lot of free time. He can't be going playing golf all the fucking time when he's too busy running his shit. You see what I mean? He's got a lot of responsibilities. Okay, and women that choose to pursue that are also going to get put in the same boat. You're not going to have it easier just because you're a woman. Okay, you're going to have to be on call. You're going to have to put your personal life on hold. You're going to have to put your family life on hold. Okay, you're going to have to do it because the business comes first. Okay, the business comes first. And that's the way it is. Okay, that's the truth. Men that are successful that way, they make a lot of sacrifices. Okay, if a woman wants to be that successful, she's gonna have to make a lot of sacrifices. Okay, and one of those sacrifices is you're not gonna be able to have kids. Okay, you're not gonna be able to take that 6 months maternity leave or that 5 months, whatever the hell they offer. Okay, you're not gonna be able to do that because you're gonna be needed at all times. You see what I mean? Especially if you got a new business and you're up and and just getting up and running, or you just got put in a high level position. Now you got to prove yourself before you get replaced. Okay. You're on there 24/7. You see what I mean? It's a very, I'm not saying it's not a productive life, but it's not a fulfilling life. It's not a fulfilling life because at the end of the day, you watching this video, you're not just your job title. Okay, you're also a person. You're also a human being. Okay, and as human beings, we all need the things that all human beings need. Okay, we need love. We need companionship. Okay. We need family. Most of us do. I know some of you women out there, I'm never having kids. No, I get it. Okay, it's fine. There's guys out there that don't have kids as well. Okay, but we all need people in our lives. We all need to have our own space, our own me time, our own, we all want those things. We all want to go let's just have dinner. I just want to have dinner with a fucking beautiful woman tonight. Oh my God. I would like to know that there's someone, waiting for me. There's someone that wants to do that with me. Okay, I don't want to bust my ass, fucking 14 hours a day to come home, dog ass tired, and there's nobody there. There's nobody there that gives a shit. There's nobody there that's gonna give me a hug or ask me how my day was. You see what I mean? Because I'm a human being. All right, and you're a human being. And if you want to succeed in capitalistic corporate America, okay, the corporation doesn't give a shit about your personal needs. What they care about is your productivity. How much money can you put in their wallet? Okay, and if that's going to be your sole focus, okay, then you have to sacrifice things to get to be that kind of a person. Okay, you're going to have to. That's just the way it is. Okay, and this movie, I'm not saying it glamorizes that, but it does. It points that out, definitely, but it doesn't really offer a solution to that, and that's why I think the disconnect is with this movie. That's the part that I didn't like about it. Okay, was that part. It's like, okay, you've done a great job of illustrating the problem, okay, and how easy it is to slip into that way of thinking, but you didn't offer a solution, okay. Okay, all you did was switch industries. Okay, you went from the fashion industry to the journalism industry, but it's still going to be the same thing. Okay, you see what I mean? It's still going to be the same rat race. It's still going to be the race to the top. Okay, it's still going to be like a dog eat dog world. Okay, it's still going to be that. It's just in a different industry. Okay, and to me, that's not an answer. All right. Okay, I'm Diego. I'm going to give you a straight man's point of view. Okay, The Devil Wears Prada. This movie came out in 2006. All right, long time ago. It was directed by a guy named David Frankel. Okay, he also directed some movies called Marley and Me, which I never saw. That came out in 2008. These are all chick flicks, by the way. Hope Springs, that came out in 2012. I didn't see that either. Miami Rhapsody, that came out in 1995. These are, by the way, these are all about Jewish New Yorkers, okay? All right, and their love lives, all right? They're rom-coms, okay? Miami Rhapsody came out in 1995. I did see that one. I saw that one a long time ago. That one was with Sarah Jessica Parker, of course, Antonio Banderas, and Mia Farrow was in it too, okay? It was one of those weird rom-coms. You just the mom is screwing everybody. It's just weird. I remember Antonio Banderas played a nurse. He played a male nurse, okay? And yes, the jokes write themselves as far as that character goes. All right. And he also directed a lot of episodes of Sex in the City. Of course he did. Of course he did. He's got that tone. He's got that flavor. Okay. This whole movie was like an episode of Sex and the City. I was waiting for fucking Carrie Bradshaw to walk in the door, okay, or Samantha to show up at a restaurant or something in this movie, okay. So yes, this guy David Frankel, he knows a lot about the chick flick rom-com genre here, okay. This movie was written by a woman named Eileen. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm going to say Aline. Aline Brosh McKenna. Now, don't let the McKenna name fool you. She is also Jewish, okay? And she wrote a movie called 27 Dresses that came out in 2008. Did you see that? I didn't. But I think wasn't that girl from ER in that? Was it Katherine Heigl? I think that's her name, Katherine Heigl. Okay, she got like blacklisted for talking shit about a movie she was in, or she was a big pain in the ass on ER. I think she was on ER. Okay, and they wrote her character off because she was such a bitch in real life. Yeah, yeah, her. Okay, and I think she's married to Katherine Heigl. Yeah, and I think she's married to some musician from like Lady Antebellum from that band. Anyway, okay, so she's blacklisted and she's already hit the wall, so she ain't getting any more work. All right, 27 Dresses, okay. And she also wrote, Eileen Brosh McKenna also wrote Morning Glory, which came out in 2010. I did not see that movie. I don't know what the hell it's about. I don't care. This movie, The Devil Wears Prada, was based on a book written by Lauren Weisberger. Yeah, Weisenberger. Or is it Weisberger? Weisberger, okay, yeah. Yes, Jewish, of course. Okay, yes. And in real life, Lauren Weisberger, she actually worked at Vogue magazine once for the editor-in-chief, whose name was Dame Anna Wintour. Dame Anna Wintour, who's a British woman, okay? And, so Lauren Weisenberger worked there as an assistant to Dame Anna Wintour for 10 months, and then she quit. So obviously, she wrote what she knows. This movie is based, the book is based on her real life experiences working at Vogue magazine for Dame Anna Wintour. Now, Dame Anna Wintour, by the way, if you want to look her up, she is the most powerful woman in publishing. In the publishing industry, she is at the top. Okay? Most respected, most clout, most influential. She can make or break your career. Okay? At the stroke of a pen. All right? Or at the touch of a button on her cell phone. Okay? She can do that. She has that kind of power. Okay, and she's also the chairman of the Met Gala. Yes, the Met, which obviously, if you're on social media, apparently, if you go today, right now, today, this is Tuesday. Tuesday, May 6th. If you go on social media right now, you're going to see a whole bunch of articles about these fucking stupid-ass celebrities and what they wore at the Met Gala. Because apparently that's a big thing for rich libtards. Okay, the Met Gala. And I already know what it is. I know what it stands for, okay? All right, I'm not stupid. Okay, I know what the Met Gala is, okay? And to me, it's just a bunch of gay shit. Anyway, I don't give a fuck about the Met. Okay, women give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about the Met. Anyway, but yeah, you know, the fashion industry, that kind of shit, all right? Anyway, so she worked at Vogue, okay? Dame Anna Wintour is the most powerful woman in publishing. Chairman of the Met Gala, okay? She is very, very famous for being a bitch, okay? And real fashion designers, okay, refused to do cameos for this movie, okay, because they were afraid that they would evoke Miss Wintour's wrath. If the movie made Miss Wintour's, the character Miss Wintour was based on, if the movie made her look bad in any way, and any one of the designers was to cameo in that movie, then she was going to blacklist them. That's what they were afraid of, so they stayed away from the movie. Only one real designer showed up in the movie for a cameo, and that guy was Valentino Garavani. Did I say that right? Garavani? Garavani, yeah, Valentino Garavani. He actually did a cameo in the movie. Now, he's the only one that braved it out, all right? Because all the other designers were afraid of getting blacklisted. That's the kind of power that Dame Anna Wintour has in the fashion industry. She can make or break your career, all right? Especially if you're a gay fashion designer, all right? So that's going on here, okay. And now, who's in the movie here? Who plays this the character based on Dame Anna Wintour? Well, obviously Meryl Streep, the Queen of Hollywood. Okay, one of the most respected actresses in Hollywood. Okay, Meryl Streep. Yes, Meryl Streep. Okay, the same woman who knew that Harvey Weinstein was sexually sexually assaulting starlets on the casting couch. She knew about it, and she still called him God at the Academy Awards. Okay, she still praised him at the Academy Awards. Yes, that's how much of a feminist Meryl Streep is, really. Anyway, so Meryl Streep, she plays Miranda Priestley, who obviously is based on Dame Anna Wintour. That character, Meryl Streep plays this ball-busting, stuck-up, very melancholy bitch. Okay, she barks orders around. She's very passive-aggressive. She's a smart ass. She speaks all the time. Everyone fucking licks her asshole. Everyone's scared of her. Okay, in fact, there's plenty of scenes in the movie when she's walking down the hallway, whenever there's someone else walking in the opposite direction, they immediately turn around and get the fuck out of that hallway as fast as they can. They will not even walk by her. That's how much they're afraid of her. Okay, everyone shits themselves whenever she walks into a room. Everyone's running around trying to make her happy at all times. Okay, so she doesn't even have to fucking hang up her own coat. All she has to do is just toss it on her assistant's desk. Okay? Like it's nothing. Okay, like that person is nothing. You see what I mean? Okay, and so she's this queen bitch. Apparently, she's very successful at her job. The fictional magazine she runs is called Runway Magazine, but basically it's Vogue. Okay, and everyone sucks her ass. Everyone's scared of her. Okay, and so yeah, that's who she is. Okay, Miranda Priestley. That's her character, played by Meryl Streep. The protagonist of the movie, however, is Anne Hathaway's character. Her name is Andy Sachs. Andy Sachs, who obviously is based on Lauren Weisenberger, based that character on herself for the 10 months that she worked at Vogue magazine. All right. So yeah, that's Andy Sachs. Anne Hathaway, she does an okay job here. Apparently, they make fun of her weight a lot, especially at the beginning of the movie. I don't see her as being fat. I've never seen her as fat. I mean, I don't know her that well. I mean, I've never really looked at her that much. I remember her in Batman, in the Dark Knight Rises, and she looked good and she looked awesome. She looked, definitely bangable in that Catwoman outfit. Okay, but I don't really watch her movies. Okay, I know in real life she's just another idiot. Okay, I know she was married. Okay, or she was engaged to a guy who ended up being like a professional con man. Like he's still in prison right now. Okay, and then I don't really give a crap who she's dating. She's a pretty girl, but she's not drop dead gorgeous or anything like that. She's very relatable, which is exactly what chick flicks want. They want a girl who's pretty but not sexy, because if the woman is sexy, then men are gonna want to see her. Okay, but if she's pretty, then women will relate to her. Because let's face it, ladies, most people are average looking. Most of you are average looking. Okay, you don't want to see some drop dead bombshell girl, okay, struggling, because girls like that in real life. Goddamn well they don't struggle when it comes to dating. Okay, and you know that. So you want to see a girl who is prettier than you, but not too much prettier than you. Okay, so it makes her more relatable. So you can imagine yourself as that girl. Okay, the average girl that gets all the high value men, right? Sound familiar? Like Sex in the City? Exactly. That's exactly the genre this is. All right. I swear to God, man. These rom-coms, these chick flicks, they belong on the fucking Sci-Fi Channel. Okay, seriously, not on Netflix, on the Sci-Fi Channel. I mean, some of this shit. I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, I like my unrealistic shit too. Okay, I just watched Thunderbolts the other day. Okay, I spent money to go to the theater to watch Thunderbolts, a superhero movie, and a mediocre one at that. And I spent money to go see it. But you know what? When I walked into the theater, I knew the movie was bullshit. When I was watching the movie, I knew it was bullshit. And when I left the theater, I still think it's bullshit. I know that shit's never going to fucking happen to me. You see what I mean? It was just entertaining. Well, somewhat entertaining. That's it. I don't carry those feelings. I don't carry that out of the theater. Okay? You women watch shit like this, and you think it's going to fucking happen to you. Okay? You really think it's going to fucking happen to you. That's the difference. All right. So Anne Hathaway plays Andy Sachs, the main character. As far as her character goes, I think she did an okay job. I mean, she sold the relatability as far as being the new girl at work, not knowing anybody in a new city. and all of a sudden, the job culture is a lot more extreme than she thought it would be. People are mean to her. They're very dismissive to her, and she's trying to prove herself. So I can understand that. I think we've all been there. Okay. And then the change, where she starts to becoming part of the corporate culture, part of the business, and starts becoming like the people around her. Okay. And she starts seeing the change within herself. I think that's kind of realistic as well. However, she didn't really face any consequences, and that's what really bothers me. Okay, the movie kind of skidded with that. It kind of skirted that scenario. What I'm talking about is there's several times in this movie where she could easily cheat on her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend. She could cheat on him, but she doesn't. She waits until they break up. Okay, and then she sleeps with the guy that she wanted to fuck this whole time. Okay, and to me that's not realistic. Okay, I know why they did it. Okay, I know why they did it. They did it because it's mostly women that are watching this movie, okay? And despite the fact that feminists don't give two fucking shits about the guy getting his heart broken, okay, women know that cheating on your man is wrong, okay? And if you're invested in the main character, if you like Andy Sachs, if you think that she's actually a paragon of virtue compared to all these slime balls that she works with, that's going to demean her. That's going to make her a slime ball as well if she cheats on her boyfriend. Okay? Which means that you're going to lose your connection to the main character. Which means you're not going to give a fuck what happens to the main character now. You see what I mean? And once you do that, then you've lost the movie. You've lost the plot. Okay, the point is you have to like Andy Sachs. You have to like her. Even when she becomes kind of a bitch, you have to like her. It has to be understandable. Okay? If she cheats on her boyfriend, there's no way in the script that would make her a good person. You see what I mean? I'm actually surprised that her boyfriend didn't cheat on her, because that would have given her an excuse to fuck the guy that she wanted to fuck this whole movie. Okay, but that didn't happen either, because they wrote him as a soy boy. Okay, and so she could have easily cheated, but she didn't. In real life, let's face it, in real life, you would have cheated. Okay, you would have cheated. Okay, even me as a guy watching this movie, I'm like, no way in fucking hell is this realistic, okay? No, she's gonna fuck this guy. She would have fucked him. Definitely, even on her boyfriend's birthday, she would have fucked him, okay? So no, you cannot convince me that she wouldn't. She's such a good girl, she wouldn't do that. No, bull fucking shit, all right? But we know why, because that would have made her look bad. And then if you make her look bad in the movie, you're not gonna care what happens to her at the end. You're not gonna root for her anymore. That's why they did it, okay? Emily Blunt is also in this movie, which was kind of weird, okay? Because she's not the main character, although she's like an A-lister now, okay? But she's just a supporting character here. She plays a girl named Emily Charlton, and she keeps her British accent. She's not playing an American in this one. And because she's not the main character, they don't have to make her look as beautiful as they do in the movies that she does today. Where she has to be the best looking woman. Like, for example, last year, I saw The Fall Guy last year. Okay, and Emily Blunt was the main love interest in that movie. She was Ryan fucking Gosling's love interest in that movie. That movie sucked, by the way. It was nothing like I love the TV show I watched when I was a kid, The Fall Guy. This movie was nothing like that at all. Nothing like that at all. Okay, the movie sucked ass. Okay, but anyway, but Emily Blunt was in it, and in her movies, when they focus on her, her skin is always flawless. Okay, it was flawless in Mary Poppins, it was flawless in Jungle Cruise, it was flawless in fucking this piece of shit. Not this piece of shit, but it was flawless in The Fall Guy. Okay, so they always make her look beautiful, but here she had freckles, so I'm guessing she's always had freckles. It's just, once you reach a certain level of stardom, you can't look average looking anymore. They have to make you look better looking than you really are, okay? They did that to Arnold Schwarzenegger. They always do that, okay? They always make sure, like the main character, when the main character is B-list or C-list, they don't really care what he looks like, okay? Because they assume he'll be stuck a character actor for the rest of his career, which a lot of actors do that, But once they put you in the forefront as a leading man or leading woman, you've got to look flawless, okay? And I just realized that Emily Blunt has freckles all over her face. Okay, I know they didn't fucking put those on her. Okay, she has freckles, okay, which I never saw when she became an A-lister. Never saw that. Now I have. Okay, so Emily Blunt's doesn't have this perfect skin that we all thought that she had. Okay, and I learned that from this movie. Another thing, Emily Blunt's a bitch in this movie, which is weird because she always plays good girls. She always plays good girls. But no, she plays a bitch in this one. So okay. All right. Stanley Tucci's in this movie. He's another fucking character actor. Shows up in a lot of different genres, but he shows up in a lot of rom-coms and stuff. Okay, and he's the bald guy, you know, short bald guy, big nose, glasses. But he shows up in a lot of different types of movies. He was in this. He's been in a lot of movies. Okay, he's basically the Stanford character from Sex and the City. He's the gay guy, the gay fucking. I guess he's the art director for Runway magazine. So he's a gay guy, well dressed, you know, whatever. Okay, and he's like the emotional support. Remember, you know, like on these rom-coms, the girl always has to have a gay best friend. Well, that's Stanley Tucci's character. He's the gay best friend. Okay, Nigel Kipling. That's his name. Okay, also the boyfriend. Okay, Andy's boyfriend. His name is Nate, and he's played by Entourage man himself, Adrian Grenier. Okay, he played Adrian Grenier. You know, he played Vincent Chase on the TV show Entourage on HBO, which I've never seen, but I know Mark Wahlberg, that is, but I'm never going to call him that. I was going to call him Marky Mark and the Funky Munch. Feel it, good vibration. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he did Entourage. Okay, he created that show Entourage. Okay, so basically he based his character of Vincent Chase on himself. All right. So Nate, so that's played by Adrian Grenier. I actually reckon I've never watched Entourage. I know I've never watched Entourage. I'm sorry. I was too busy getting laid in real life than to watch a show about guys getting laid. I'm sorry, but I was back then, okay? You know, I'm sorry, okay? But I was, all right? You have no kind of idea of the life that I lead, okay? Why the fuck would I watch some fucking guy who's out there with his friends getting laid every night, okay? When I was doing it for fucking real. Okay, and that's the truth. That's the truth. So I never watched Entourage. Maybe I'll watch it one of these days, but I know that was like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So I know whatever was cool back then is not cool today. I don't care. But yeah, no, I never watched Entourage. A lot of my guy friends have watched it. That's because they weren't getting laid. I was. Okay? Anyway. Who else we got here? Simon Baker. That's the guy that we all realistically, Andy would have cheated on her boyfriend with, okay? Simon Baker, okay, he plays a writer named Christian Thompson, okay? You remember him. He's the lead of that TV show, The Mentalist. That's him. That show's on for several years, like 7 years or something, okay? I also remember him from another rom-com that I saw a long time ago called Something New, okay? And that was actually a black rom-com, but he was the only white person in the movie. It's about a black girl who I think it was Gabrielle Union played her, the black girl, okay? And she starts dating a white guy. Ooh, and guess who played the white guy? Okay, exactly, this guy, Simon Baker. And I remember that movie very well because like the whole black family, like they didn't approve of her dating a white guy, you know? And she even tells them in the movie, you know, like, I'm not prejudiced, it's just a preference. I like black men. It's a preference, not a prejudice. And he looks at her and he's like, so you prefer to be prejudiced? I remember that from this. I only saw the movie once, but I remember that. Okay, that came out in 2006. It's got Something New. Okay, it's like Jungle Fever but reversed. All right. Okay, so there's that. Giselle Bundchen, you know who that is? She plays a character named Serena. Now, who is Giselle? Okay, you know who that is. Okay, that's Tom Brady's ex-wife. Okay. You know, the one that was cheating on him. Tom Brady, dude, one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Not only that, look at this fucking guy. He's super fucking wealthy. He's super fucking good looking. He's super fucking talented. Intelligent. The jury's out on that one. I mean, he has knowledge. I don't think he has much wisdom, although I think he's wiser now. Okay? This guy's a fucking 10, okay? This guy is a fucking 10, and he's fucking worshipped by men all over the fucking world, okay? Because he's a football champion, okay? He's a Super Bowl winner. I mean, the Tom Brady, for Christ's sake. And Giselle, his wife, cheated on him with a goddamn martial arts instructor. This just goes to show you guys out there who are watching this, okay? It doesn't matter how much fucking money you have. It doesn't matter how popular you are, how successful you are in your career, how respected you are by your peers, okay? What a good person you are, how much money you have, what you look like, how big your dick is, okay? It doesn't fucking matter. Or how famous you are. It doesn't fucking matter. If your woman's gonna cheat on you, she's gonna fucking cheat on you. JFK Jr. was also a fucking 10. And his wife was fucking Michael Bergen the whole time they were married. Okay? So no. I mean, look at Will Smith. Yeah, I know he's a bitch, okay? But god damn it, there's a lot of women that would have loved to have fucked him while he's married to Jada Pinkett Smith, and yet he let fucking his wife fuck around on him. It's just like you see what I mean? Maybe Will Smith's a bad example because I think he enjoys being a cuck. Okay, but your typical guy has a sense of self-respect, and if you're a high value man, okay, and you're gonna fucking let your wife fuck around, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is that, a lot of these dating gurus, these red pill guys on here, they'll tell men you need to have more money, you need to get physically fit, you need to fucking increase your penis size, you need to fucking learn how to talk to women, you need to learn how to dress, you need to buy this type of car, you need to fucking learn these jokes, you need to okay, those guys, they're full of shit. Okay? That might get you more women in the short run. Okay? But a woman's gonna fuck around you, she's gonna fuck around you. So whenever I hear a guy tell me about, hey, my wife cheated on me, my girlfriend cheated, motherfucker, look at Tom Brady. His wife cheated on him. And he's fucking Tom Brady, for Christ's sake. Not you, not me. We're never gonna be as fucking sexually attractive as fucking Tom Brady, okay? To women. And even he got fucked over. Even he's a cuck. If Tom Brady can get fucking cheated on, any man can. And that's the truth. That is the fucking truth. All right? And yes, Giselle Bündchen, yeah, she's in this fucking movie. She plays a minor character named Serena. Okay? All right. So she's in this. That piece of shit's in this movie. The budget for this movie was $40 million. It made $327 million at the box office. I'm surprised they didn't make a sequel because that's a pretty good return on investment. It really is. Okay, obviously you women love this movie a lot. Okay, and for a side note, Kate Hudson. Yes, Goldie Hawn's daughter, Kate Hudson. Wyatt Russell's sister, Kate Hudson. She actually was offered the role of Andy Sachs, and she turned it down. Ooh, and she's still kicking herself for that. Okay, and remember earlier I told you that that a lot of the culture that I noticed in the movie when it began, I recognized from Sex and the City. Well, a lot of that is the costumer. Okay, the woman that outfitted all the actors in this movie was Patricia Field, the same woman who did all the costumes on Sex and the City. How do I know this? Because I have already reviewed every single episode of Sex and the City. It's on this channel. I know my shit. I watched it back in the day when it first came out, and then I rewatched it so I could review the episodes for this channel. Okay? So I know what I'm talking about. Patricia Field is the costume designer for this movie. All right? And also on a side note, apparently in real life, Emily Blunt and Anne Hathaway both starved themselves, or as I call it, fasting. Okay? They starved themselves for this movie, so they would be the right size. Okay. I guess that's something you women do. All right, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back shortly to continue my review of The Devil Wears Prada. The Devil Wears Prada. Okay, I thank you for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.